I know it feels impossible to imagine a world without Messi or Ronaldo. However, what was that world like before? If I was to ask you to name me several Ballon d'Or winners, you may go through quite similar names. Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Zinedine Zidane. However, there's other players in there that becomes kind of forgotten. Almost like they were just a 1 year and done type of player, which is not the case. In this video, I'll be covering, obviously, Kaka. Now, when it comes to the conversation of all-time greatest midfielders or attacking midfielders, Kaka is in the category below the likes of Zinedine Zidane, where he's kind of put into the, oh yeah, actually, yeah, you have a point category, where you kind of don't really think about him first and foremost. In 2007, when he won the Ballon d'Or, he was first with 444 votes. Second was Ronaldo with 277. And third was indeed Lionel Messi with 255, making it the only time that with Ronaldo and Messi together at this time of their careers that someone else actually won. So today I want to look back on Kaka and why he's kind of forgotten, in my opinion. Comment down below your thoughts, like, subscribe, and Mazola Designs. Of course, I do have my own Kaka print, one of my favorite prints actually. I absolutely love this design, and I hope you do too. So use code Halloween for 17% off all items. Link down below, top description. And let's go. Now, like many Brazilian footballers, their roots always typically follow the same. Being born in somewhat of a lower class background in Brazil, Kaka, originally from Gama, is actually called Ricardo. A fun little fact here, the reason why he is called Kaka is that his actual name Ricardo, he wasn't able to pronounce it at a young age. So instead they gave him the nickname Kaka, and it clearly stuck. He moved to the area of Sao Paulo at the age of 7, and of course, with his love of football, like many Brazilian kids, they go through the ranks of the local schools and tried their best to be noticed by an actual football club. That club being, of course, Sao Paulo FC. He joined the club at the age of 8 and continued with them throughout his development, and indeed made his debut back in 2001 for the club. But one important thing about Kaka that I'm sure you remember is that he's got this iconic celebration, a white one with a simple text, "I belong to Jesus." This was an iconic image after winning the 2007 UEFA Champions League final. And the reason behind this, you may think, is obvious. He's a very religious man. However, there's an actual reason behind this as well. Before he began his footballing career at the age of 18, he had a very severe swimming pool accident where he had a severe fracture on his spinal cord. Luckily, he made a full recovery from this, and to this day attributes his recovery due to God. And not only that, he also gives 1/10 of all his earnings to his local churches in this area. It did not take long for Kaka to make a name for himself though at Sao Paulo, with 12 goals and 27 appearances at the age of 19 for Sao Paulo, and at the end he made 58 appearances for Sao Paulo, scoring 23 times. Obviously a young Brazilian talent will gain a lot of attention from European clubs, and that club, you may have heard, is AC Milan. In 2003 he joined AC Milan for a fee of €8.5 million, which may sound like absolutely nothing, and in theory it is absolutely nothing considering the talent that they now obtained. However, back in these days this was seen as a pretty risky move for a young player from Brazil. However, within a month he got into the starting lineup, and replacing a player such as Rui Costa immediately became a big part of the AC Milan team at the age of 2021, where he scored 10 goals in his first season, helping AC Milan win the Scudetto that season, forming a great partnership with the likes of Andrea Shevchenko and Inzaghi. However, one regret may be the fact that that was his only title he ever won for AC Milan in his 6 years there. However, there was much more success in the future. But it didn't come easy, of course. Back in 2005, we all know the final in Istanbul versus Liverpool, and I don't think I need to really say what happened there. And it was in the following years, in 2006, 7, 8 and 9, where Kaka was known as quoted one of the greatest players of the generation, with the likes of Pele labelling Kaka as the complete football player. These are very impressive achievements, and the fact that, again, you don't really hear too much about Kaka is a real shame. There is nothing that Kaka could not do on the pitch. He could easily glide past players, can score effortlessly from a distance, and provide defense-splitting passes consistently as well. For those 2-3 seasons at Milan, he was potentially the best player in the world, and he was in 2007, winning the Ballon d'Or, of course, ahead of Ronaldo and Messi, and officially confirming his greatness forever. What made Kaka so unique was his stature. For a man which is rather large for number 10, to have the low center of gravity that he has was rather impressive. You know, Lionel Messi with his dribbling ability, you usually attribute a dribbling type of player to someone who's a bit more smaller. Kaka could still accelerate past a player in the same way that a smaller player could, and one word to describe Kaka that you find a lot is the word finesse. Because of his long stride, he was unstoppable once he got up to speed. So I'm saying all these really amazing things, and he's won a Ballon d'Or, and he's won a Champions League, and he has potentially one of the greatest all-time performances in Champions League history. This was at Old Trafford against Manchester United, and it's similar almost to when Ronaldo went to Old Trafford bagging a hat-trick, stapling himself as one of the greatest players in the world. 2007, football needed a new superstar, with Zinedine Zidane retiring, Arna Ronaldo being discarded by Real Madrid, and Luis Figo, Rivaldo, Nedved were all in their mid-30s, and Ronaldinho wasn't really concentrating on football either. There were, of course, the younger generation coming through, the likes of Wayne Rooney, Ronaldo, and Lionel Messi, of course. However, Kaka, despite being older, was still seen as somewhat of an emerging talent. And at this time when Kaka played against Messi for, let's say, Brazil versus Argentina in 2006, this game Kaka took the ball away from Lionel Messi after a poor touch, ran away, dribbled 70 yards with the ball, and rolled the ball into the back of the net, becoming somewhat of a know your place kid kind of moment. So now it's time for Cristiano Ronaldo, and he did it effortlessly. Now, it is important to say that Kaka isn't a normal classic number 10, because a classic number 10 would typically pull the strings in midfield, become somewhat of a playmaker, and then occasionally pushes forward to offer somewhat of a goal-scoring threat. Kaka was different. I think the role of a second striker suits Kaka more. A certain goal is remembered here, with Dida, the AC Milan goalkeeper, putting the ball forward. Kaka was up all by himself, just up against the likes of Gabriel Heinz, Patrice Evra, and Darren Fletcher, shrugging them off with absolute ease, making them indeed look silly by clashing into each other, and calmly rolling the ball past Edwin van der Sar. One of Kaka's greatest moments, and it's fair to say that at the age of 25, this is where Kaka peaked in his career. Kaka was wanted by many clubs, one of them being indeed Manchester City, where it was rumoured that they actually made a bid of about £100 million. This would be, without a doubt, by a mile, a world record fee. However, only 6 months later, he then joined, obviously, Real Madrid. Kaka joined the club for €68.5 million, with AC Milan having no choice but to let him go due to the size of the fee involved, as Manchester City wasn't really a club that Kaka wanted to really join. This should have been perfect, as when Kaka joined, a certain other player joined at the same time. You may have heard of him, Cristiano Ronaldo. At Madrid at the time, they had Raul, Karim Benzema, Guti, Gonzalo Higuain and Rafael van der Vaart at the club. However, with Ronaldo then joining the collection here, it then meant that Kaka became much more of an afterthought quite fast. But it wasn't Ronaldo's fault precisely. Kaka also had, sadly, one very common issue: injuries. This meant that Kaka unfortunately was very rarely on the pitch, and when he was only picking up to speed and trying to pick up some sort of form. Therefore, he was very rarely at his best to anywhere near that we can compare him to to his days at AC Milan. 11-12, he had a pretty good campaign, winning the title in La Liga, but it wasn't the same Kaka that we previously saw. At AC Milan, he very easily scored 14, 15, 16 goals as a number 10. However, at Real Madrid, he became 8s, 7s, then 5s. Therefore, throughout his 4 years at Real Madrid, it became a bit underwhelming of what people really expected from him, sadly due to things that was out of his control. Kaka did indeed return to AC Milan back in 2013 and then had a stint back at Sao Paulo before going to the MLS at Orlando City. What made Kaka stand out as well as a Brazilian is that he was very, very simple in how he played the game, and he was also incredibly humble as well, becoming a great personality. And Kaka is put into the category of elegant type of players, with Zinedine Zidane, Andrea Pirlo, Riquelme, Iniesta, Mesut Ozil, Luka Modric, and many more. Tell me down below your thoughts on Kaka, and I just felt like doing a video about him because he was the last one to win the Ballon d'Or before the Ronaldo and Messi era even began. And because of the insanity of Messi and Ronaldo, it makes players like Kaka and many others before them look just good. And that's crazy. So I kind of wanted to do a video about him. So comment down below your thoughts, and I'll see you next time.